This is Cricbuzz Chatter with Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan. It's perfectly poised, 1-1 heading into the third test match between England and the West Indies. Starting on Friday, the winner will claim the Wisden Trophy. Indeed, if West Indies draw it, they'll retain the trophy. Vaughanie, selection. Inevitably, we come to this because with England, there are so many bowlers to choose from. Their group have done the job this week. It might be raining in Manchester this weekend. Where do you see it playing out?
Well, yeah, you've got to bring all those kind of things into the equation when you're picking a side, I guess. I mean, there's a few showers due Saturday, Sunday, Monday, but I don't think it's going to be like we saw last Saturday when there was a full day washed out. Just showers, you're going to get that in Manchester, I'm afraid. Selection, I mean, for the first time in probably a few years, England have gotten a massive of quality seam bowlers. All fit, raring to go. Jofra Archer's back into the equation. Jimmy Anderson, possibly England's greatest ever. Mark Wood, will they come back in? You know, I just look at the England performance over the last few days and I woke up yesterday morning thinking it's only English sport can start to think about changes when a team has just hammered the opposing team that they're going to play again on Friday on the same pitch. The one thing is you've got to look after bodies, and obviously if one or two of the seam bowlers' bodies have not been playing any cricket, have woken up over the last day or so and are a bit sore, of course you go with the likes of Anderson and Jofra Archer to freshen it up. But you know, I would really be tempted if all those four that, you know, played against the West Indies just a few days ago and hammered them, fit and raring to go. Isn't it worth just going with the same team, leaving the likes of Jofra Archer and Jimmy Anderson for that test match against Pakistan, which starts again in about a week and a half's time? So it's not a massive amount of time in between the last game against the West Indies and the first test match against Pakistan. You get a sense they will change it. You get a sense that you know, Jimmy Anderson may come back in, Jofra Archer may come back in, Sam Curran, Chris Woakes might miss out. It would be unfortunate. I mean, Sam Curran's played 8 test matches in the UK, he's won every one. So he's like the lucky mascot, just always produces a little bit of magic at the right time. I don't think anyone deserves to be dropped. The one tactical move you could go to, I guess, is Jack Leach for Don Bess. So you get a left-arm spinner spinning away from all those right-handers. But Jack Leach hasn't played any cricket, so it's a real tough one for England. It's a good position to be. You'd rather be in that position as a selection unit rather than not having any players at all. So it's a good problem for England.
Yeah, too right. The quintessential good problem to have. As far as Jofra Archer is concerned, he wrote a quite punchy column in the Daily Mail today about some of the criticism he received last week in some quarters, some incorrect reporting and so on. He'll be fired up if he gets the opportunity. Yeah,
I mean, will he come back in? You know, Jofra's played a few tests in the UK. He's won that Headingley Test match against Australia with Ben Stokes' incredible innings. But we saw on that last day in Southampton, he just offers a bit of difference. You know, bowling near on 90 miles an hour, getting that steep bounce. England went to the short ball theory with Stokes and Broad this week, and it worked. So I would expect if the ball's not swinging around, they'll continue with that kind of process. And Jofra Archer can deliver it probably better than any of the England bowlers. You know, it's been quite ironic because of the narrative of Jofra over the last few days that we've been talking about Jofra coming back in for Friday, and Jimmy Anderson, England's greatest, has hardly had a mention. Good luck knocking on Jimmy's door this week and say, Jimmy, by the way, you're not going to be bowling from your own end yet again. As I say, it's a good problem that England have. I've got a sneak suspicion that Jofra Archer will probably replace Sam Curran.
As far as the West Indies are concerned, you talked about the right-handers earlier. If they leave out John Campbell, that'll be 11 right-handers in their lineup. And as for Shai Hope, well, what do you do about a problem like Shai Hope? Such a precocious talent. We've seen him do it on the big stage in England before, but hasn't been able to convert thereafter in Test cricket, certainly not in the last couple of Test matches. Could he be overlooked in favour of Rakeem Cornwall? And on the other side of the ledger, Josh Da Silva. He wasn't even in the touring party, but did well in the warm-up game. Might they be tempted at the top of the order?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be a decent move. I mean, Stuart Broad bowls so well to left-handers anyway that, you know, you saw what he did to David Warner last summer. John Campbell's just not looked in any kind of form, so I would make that change at the top of the order. What I'd do with Shai Hope is moving down the order. I put Brooks to number 3, I put Roston Chase to 4 and put Shai Hope to number 5, because from number 5, I think he can play more of the one-day style game that we know that he's got. He can be a bit more aggressive from ball 1. You can see when he comes in at 3, he's trying to play the technical game, the patient game, trying to play pure shots all the time. I would move him to 5. I'd move Dowridge below Jason Holder. Jason Holder's a better batsman than Dowridge, without any question. Jason Holder at number 8 is wasted. You know, he can properly play, and All right, he's not had big scores because, you know, he came in at number 9 in the first innings because of the night watch. Sorry, back in Southampton. I just don't think he's maximising his batting prowess. We see him with the ball. He was the best bowler for the West Indies this week, always probing away. Didn't get the wicket haul that you probably would have hoped for him, but I think he's a better batsman than being at number 8. I'd move Darius to number 8, Holder to 7, Jermaine Blackwood stays at 6, and I put Shea Hope to number 5. I just think it gives them a better balance and a better opportunity to get the big score.
Between the test matches, Ben Stokes has been elevated to number 1 as all-rounder and number 3 batsman as far as the ICC points rankings are concerned. You had Freddie Flintoff at your disposal when he was at the peak of his powers. As a skipper, how do you go about managing that kind of talent when he's so good, when the temptation is to let him do everything?
You don't have to do anything. You know, it's an absolute dream for a captain when you've got that style of player in your team that you just sit back. He pretty much leads the team for you. Freddie did it for me for about 18 months, and Ben Stokes has already done it for a couple of years for this England side. Every win really in the last 2 years, Ben Stokes has achieved something or changed the game in some way, as he did here in Manchester just in the second test match. You know, I think, you know, burnout is a question that you always ask about an all-rounder like Ben Stokes, but he's fit, he's firing, he's tough. I just don't think you should use that word. If you mention the word burnout to Ben Stokes, it probably release something on you that we saw a couple of years ago as well, so I wouldn't even go there. You know, he's a wonderful cricketer, number 3 batsman in the world. I know there's a few in the media saying, oh, he could be the number 1 batsman in the world. I'm not too sure about that. I personally think, I know you can get to number 1 batting at number 5, but I personally think you've got to bat in the top 4 to really be deemed the best batsman in the world. Face that new ball a little bit more often. But in terms of what he can provide, with all the different gears he can play in, he has got everything covered. So at the age of 29, we mentioned it in Southampton, I think he's going to get better and better over the next 2 or 3 years, and we may not have seen the best of him yet. So get ready, the rest of the world.
Absolutely. What we do know is this is wonderfully set up, as I said, a tester piece heading into this decider. It starts on Friday. Make sure you follow it all on the Cricbuzz live blog through the course of the day's play. And back with Adam Collins and Michael Vaughan at Stumps on Cricbuzz Chatter.
Cheers, guys.